First of all, what an incredible intro. You almost gave me a tear to my eye, and I'm not being silly when I say that. That was really special. It's an honor to be speaking to everybody today about my journey, about how kindness really can change the world, and it definitely changed my life. So, to get into it, I used to be this hooligan over there. That's actually something I did for charity here in South Africa, but it shows what a little bit of a crazy person I am. I like to say, before this all happened, social media was still quite young. And my Twitter handle at the time, before I realized the importance of a name, was Razzle Monster, because that's what I really thought. I was this massive hooligan. But I'm now this guy, and who is that guy? Well, I own what has become South Africa's top good news site, reaching over 30 million people every month. I've got radio features here in South Africa, as well as a couple of news features on national news, where they've realized just how important good news is. In reality, I'm just an average guy. I know, Tanya, that you spoke me up like that, and I'm really just an average guy. I grew up in the south of Johannesburg to a very average, what I can call household. I went to government primary school and high school. I dropped out of varsity twice, but that's a completely different talk. And I started working at the age of 15 to help contribute to my household because we didn't have a lot of money. But that average upbringing, I was surrounded by incredible people, incredible peers, family, friends, teachers, and they taught me a number of things that I carry with me. The first is that average is not good enough. We have to try and aim bigger to achieve more. The second is maybe my life ethos, and that is to always do what is good and what is right, because then the universe knows what to give back to you. And the third is you always got to lead with kindness because kindness has the ability to change the world. So if we start this journey knowing what we know about this ethos of who I am, well, what exactly happened? 11 years ago, there was the first online trend that used social media as a catalyst to grow itself. Before the ALS bucket challenge or the lipstick challenge, or now when we see a challenge on TikTok every other day, this was the OG, the original. It was called Neck Nominations, and the idea was really simple. Drink as much as you possibly could, alcohol. Do something really silly in the process, as you can see on the screen there. Many people doing really silly things. There's a guy holding up a glass with two live goldfish in it, and he actually swallowed those goldfish and then drank half a bottle of gin, looked at the camera and said, outdo what I had done. There were millions of these videos being uploaded from all around the world, and it was gradually making its way to South Africa. But I was watching it from here, and I had a couple of thoughts about the silly game that sort of had taken over social media and our news. But I think there were two things that really pushed me into the decision making that I went into. And the first was a South African woman by the name of Justine Sacco, who worked in New York. Justine, a couple of weeks before Neck Nominations had really taken hold of the world, had caught a flight from New York to Heathrow and Heathrow to Johannesburg. And along the way, she used her Twitter, her social media, to share a couple of funny things to her 120 followers. The first was, weird German dude, you're in first class, it's 2014, get some deodorant, my inner monologue as I inhale body odor. Thank goodness for pharmaceuticals. Perhaps that was funny to some of her followers. The next tweet that she put up when she got into the UK was chili cucumber sandwiches. Bad teeth, I don't know about that, but back in London is what she said. The third tweet I can't show you because it was so deplorable that it completely ruined her life. The polar opposite of perhaps what kindness is. But when she arrived in Johannesburg, Justine Sacco, when she arrived in Johannesburg, she'd lost her job, she'd lost her career, and the family that she was here to visit actually asked her to go back to where she had come from. She became the #1 trending hashtag around the world before hashtags were really a trending thing. Why does this matter? Because it made me realize what we put on the internet matters. That is her legacy. That's all she's left behind. If you Google her, that's the only thing you will find. So during this process of neck nominations, I was thinking to myself, why would anybody put something so silly online as drinking and doing these really random, silly things? Another thing that happened at the time is Burger King as a chain launched in South Africa. And as you know, South Africa has a very small sort of middle to upper class. But they came up with this grand idea to give burgers to people that could afford them. Obviously, then hooking the customer in to bring them back. The idea was simple. You had to listen to the radio to find out where this billboard would pop up in the morning, and you'd have to drive there then and then take a photo with the billboard, send it into the radio station, and they gave out 10,000 vouchers to Burger King. My thinking at the time was, imagine if Burger King had taken those 10,000 meals and given them to people in need. Imagine they were a little bit kinder. Imagine the PR value around being emotional and kind. That would be way better than just giving out free Whoppers to people that could afford them. So with those two things in mind, I got to work. Oh, we're not there yet. With those two things in mind, I researched what it is in South Africa when we look at the level of poverty. This is currently in 2025. Over 90% of South Africans live below the dignity line. In that portion of South Africans, over 63% live below the international upper middle income poverty line. Most of those South Africans have to make a choice every day between eating or getting to work. The last stat I'm going to share with you is 25% of South Africans are living below the food poverty line. It's really harrowing. Imagine if they'd taken those meals and fed people who really needed it. So I got to the office with these two things in mind, and a friend of mine, not me, that's not me on the screen, a friend of mine who had done something as equally silly as everybody, these millions of videos from around the world, had done his neck nomination and then pointed at the screen and said my name. And I still remember I sat at my desk thinking, what do I do? Do I join this trend? Do I go against the grain, or do I perhaps try and change one thing to inspire some of my friends around me to maybe do a little bit of kindness as well? I went to my local supermarket at lunch and I bought an extra chocolate, a sandwich and a cold drink with the intention to give it to the next person in need. It's not difficult. I've shown you the stats of where we are in South Africa. There's someone in need on every intersection. I threw my phone to my colleague who captured the whole thing, and I proceeded to put up the first YouTube video, the first video I'd ever uploaded online. I had to register my YouTube and sort of get it all up there. Within a couple of seconds, the video shot to 301 views. I swear I thought I'd made it. I didn't even have 301 Facebook friends. I was like, this is it. When is Hollywood going to call? What I didn't know is that over a decade ago, when a YouTube video was going viral, YouTube actually froze that number at 301 until they could vet whatever was on screen to make sure it wasn't anything untoward. I forgot about it. I went to a friend's birthday dinner that night, and she came up to me and she said, Brenty, I cannot believe the videos had hundreds and thousands of views. And I cannot believe that people around the world have started changing their neck nomination into a rack nomination. That's when the Random Acts of Kindness movement was born here in South Africa. The very next day I woke up and the video was bordering hundreds and thousands of views, of being shared everywhere, and there were all these missed calls on my phone from international numbers. Hollywood had literally called. It was CNN and BBC and Sky News and eventually the Ellen Show and even Oprah. I want you to watch this.
I noticed it's getting really cold out here.
Yeah.
So my dad actually got me this jacket. I hope that keeps you warm tonight, mate.
The moment that went viral. Proof that even the smallest acts of kindness go a long way.
A local woman is going viral this week for doing something so simple but so good.
Random act of kindness isn't going unnoticed. there's still a lot of good in this world.
I hope a lot more people can do acts of kindness for other people, because you never know what it's going to do for their day, for their life. You never know what situation they're in.
Thank you so much, man. We're really proud of you guys in South Africa for having started this.
In South Africa,
they are performing random acts of kindness.
10,000 rands worth of shoes.
I was inspired by a guy I saw in South Africa.
What inspired me was a guy in South Africa.
He filmed himself giving some sandwiches and food to someone standing at a robot.
This was inspired by a YouTube video from Brent. Yours now, it's not mine.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
I'd like to thank Brent Lindeque for this nomination. Go and watch Brent's video.
Brent Lindeque.
Brent Lindeque.
I'm going to show you how South Africans do it.
This was just awesome. I was very, very proud, but never realised where it was going to, never.
I can't honestly tell you I believe that it will blow up and be as big and great and reach millions of people, and what this journey has exposed is this ripple effect. We underestimate our individual roles in creating those ripples. I knew that he had done something special.
For you, buddy. Thank you. Hold on. Chocolate. And a Coke. Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
I'd never put anything like that on the internet before, and it's changed my whole existence on this planet. It showed me my purpose.
Brent Lindeque is in the studio with us.
It made me who I am today. Isn't that bizarre? The greatest thing I've ever done in my whole entire life is fed a homeless person.
People want to do good. They just need the platform.
We rise by lifting each other.
It takes one small thing to make a big difference.
So that one moment thrust me into a completely different world, where all of a sudden I was on the front page of newspapers, and I was on TV shows and news stations, and my social media started to grow, and everything that I've just told you doesn't matter. Because at the same time, there were all these organizations and businesses and individuals that were also getting my contact details, trying to get hold of me to tell me their incredible stories about the good work that they were doing in South Africa. And for the first time in my entire existence on this planet, in this country, I didn't feel like South Africa was falling over. I didn't feel like it was on the brink of being broken. I was being surrounded by the best of the best. And I wanted other South Africans to have that same feeling of being proud of our country and hopeful for our future. So I knocked on doors, and I found a way in. I got given a little radio slot on Cliff Central with Gareth Cliff, and then I got given a TV show on CNBC on a Friday night, all sharing good news stories from South Africa to the world. But I knew that these stories had to live in a different place, in a place of their own. So on the 1st of August 2015, I launched goodthingsguide.com. I like to say that first day I had one reader, my mother. You saw her. She's my biggest fan. And by the end of the day, I was on a pretty good wicket because she showed it to my father. So 2 readers, not too bad. 10 years later, and we reach over 30 million South Africans on a monthly basis. Like I said, it's infiltrated mainstream media, where I now write for really big publications as well. I feature on different news stations and radio stations, where I'm speaking about good news in a time when bad news feels so heavy. I've been lucky enough in the last 10 years, in the last decade, to meet the most incredible South Africans and international people that are doing great things around us. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned in the last decade is really that kindness can not only change your life or change someone else's life, it can literally save someone's life. There are stories upon stories about how just being a little bit kinder have made movements in this country that other people get involved in. It's a beautiful thing. So I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity today to tell my story and to remind you that kindness matters. And I want to leave you with this. Kindness is not just a moment. It doesn't simply change someone's day. It reaches further, deeper. It's the one thing we give freely that has the power to shift someone's life. And often, without realizing it, kindness can shift our lives as well. I want to thank you all for my 10 minutes of telling my story.